The ballroom glittered, a galaxy of crystal and gold, but for Duke Alistair Beaumont, it was just another gilded cage. He was the most eligible bachelor in the kingdom, a man whose lineage was as old as the mountains, and whose fortune could buy nations. Yet his heart was a fortress, besieged by duty and expectation. Tonight, like every other night, he wore a mask of polite indifference, his gaze sweeping over the sea of debutantes, each one a carbon copy of the last pretty, polished and utterly predictable. They curtsied and simpered, their eyes filled with ambition, but none saw past the title to the man beneath. Alistair was suffocating and needed air. Slipping through a side door, he found himself in the quiet solitude of the royal gardens. The moon cast a silvery glow over marble statues and blooming nightshades. It was here, away from the stifling ballroom, that he first saw her. She wasn't a guest. She was a servant, her simple gown a stark contrast to the opulence inside. Her name was Alara, and she was tending to the wilting roses, her touch gentle, her expression one of quiet concentration. She hummed a soft, melancholic tune, a melody that seemed to weave itself into the very fabric of the night. Alistair was captivated. It wasn't just her beauty, though her features were as delicate as the petals she tended. It was the serenity that surrounded her, the sense of purpose in her small actions. For the first time in years, he felt a genuine flicker of curiosity. He stepped from the shadows. "Those roses seem to have found a kind caretaker," he said, his voice startling her. Alara jumped, her eyes widening. She quickly curtsied, her gaze fixed on the ground. "Your Grace," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. "Forgive me, I didn't see you." He smiled, a real smile that reached his eyes. "There is nothing to forgive. It is I who should apologize for startling you. What is your name?" She hesitated, then said, "Alara, Your Grace." He repeated it softly. "Alara." The name felt right on his tongue. They spoke for what felt like mere moments, but the moon had climbed high into the sky. He learned of her love for the gardens, a world away from the political machinations he endured. She spoke of flowers and seasons, not of titles and dowries. In her presence, he wasn't the Duke. He was just Alistair. This became their secret. Night after night, Alistair would escape the charade of high society to find his sanctuary in the gardens with Alara. He brought her books of poetry. She showed him the hidden language of flowers. Their bond grew, a fragile blossom in the moonlit garden, nurtured by stolen conversations and shared silences. He saw the world anew through her eyes, a world of simple beauty and profound kindness. He was falling for her, deeply and irrevocably, but their worlds were separated by an insurmountable wall of class and duty. She was a servant, and he was a duke, betrothed since birth to a woman he didn't love, Lady Sabé for the sake of a political alliance. The whispers started subtly, a guard noticing the duke's frequent nightly walks, a maid seeing a book of sonnets on Alara's small bedside table. The palace was a web of eyes and ears, and their secret was too precious to remain hidden for long. Alistair's mother, the formidable Dowager Duchess, was the first to confront him. Her words were like shards of ice. "An infatuation with a servant, Alistair. You are a Beaumont. You have a duty to your name, to your future bride. This foolishness ends now." He tried to argue, to explain that what he felt for Alara was more real than any duty, but his mother was unyielding. The pressure mounted. Lord Harrington, Lady Isabel's father, made pointed remarks about the importance of a stable and focused mind for the impending union. Alistair felt the walls of his gilded cage closing in. He was torn between his heart and his heritage, between the love that had awakened his soul and the destiny that had been written for him before he was born. One evening, he went to the garden, his heart heavy with a decision he didn't want to make. But Alara wasn't there. A cold dread washed over him. He found her in the servants' quarters, her meager belongings packed into a small bundle. Her eyes were red-rimmed, but she stood tall. "The Duchess. She offered me a new position," Alara said, her voice strained. "Far away, in the Northern Territories." "It wasn't an offer. It was an exile." a punishment for daring to capture the Duke's heart. Alistair's world fractured. "No," he said, his voice raw. "I won't let her do this." He looked at Alara, at the woman who had shown him what it meant to truly live. He saw the pain in her eyes, a reflection of his own. In that moment, he knew he could not lose her. Duty, title, fortune, they were all meaningless without her. "Don't go," he pleaded, taking her hands. "Stay. With me." Her eyes filled with tears. "But how?" "I am a servant. You are a duke." He looked at her, his resolve hardening into steel. "Then I will cease to be a duke." The words hung in the air, audacious and world-altering. The idea was madness. To renounce his title, his lands, his entire identity was unthinkable. It was social suicide. But the thought of a life without Alara was a death of a different kind. A slow, hollow demise he was no longer willing to accept. The next day, Alistair Beaumont did the unthinkable. He walked into the great hall, before the king and the entire court, and formally renounced his title and all its holdings. He declared his betrothal to Lady Isabel Void. Gasps echoed through the hall. His mother looked as if she might faint. Lord Harrington's face was a mask of pure fury. But Alistair felt a lightness he had never known. He was no longer a duke, shackled by expectation. He was just a man, free to choose his own path. He left the palace with nothing but the clothes on his back, and walked away from the life he had always known. He found Alara waiting for him by the city gates, just as they had planned. She ran to him, and he held her, breathing in the scent of roses and freedom. They had nothing, yet they had everything. They left the capital and traveled to a small coastal village, a place where no one knew the name Beaumont. He found work as a carpenter. His hands, once soft and accustomed to holding a scepter, became calloused and strong from honest labor. Alara cultivated a small garden, her flowers bringing color and life to their humble cottage. Life was not easy. They faced hardship and poverty, a stark contrast to the luxury Alistair had left behind. Some days were a struggle, but every evening they would sit together, watching the sunset over the ocean, and he knew he had made the right choice. He had traded a crown for a life of love, a palace for a home. Years pass. The story of the duke who gave up everything for a servant girl became a whispered legend in the capital, a tale of scandalous folly to some, and a testament to true love for others. One day, a royal carriage arrived in their village. Out stepped a woman Alistair vaguely recognized, Lady Isabel, the woman he was supposed to marry. But she was not there for revenge. She had married another, a man she truly loved, and was now a powerful duchess in her own right. She had heard their story and had come to see the man who had the courage to do what she never could. She looked at Alistair and Alara, at their simple clothes and their intertwined hands. And she saw not poverty, but a richness she'd only just begun to understand. Before she left, she gave them a small pouch of gold. "For a new beginning," she said, with a genuine smile. "Everyone deserves one." With it, they bought a larger plot of land, expanding their garden into a flourishing flower nursery that became renowned throughout the region. Alistair and Alara built a life together, not on the foundation of a title or a fortune, but on the bedrock of respect, courage, and a love that had dared to defy an empire. Their story wasn't one of a duke and a servant anymore. It was the story of Alistair and Alara, a testament to the fact that the greatest nobility lies not in a title, but in the unwavering loyalty of the heart. Thank you for watching this story from Noble Hearts. If you are moved by Alistair and Alara's journey, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales of love against the odds. Let us know in the comments what you would have done in Alistair's position. We'll see you in the next story.